Good morning and welcome to a Monday mindfulness session with Rootwork. Last time we were talking, we were discussing emotional intelligence, and so I want to continue elaborating on that subject this morning. So, one way of understanding and trying to understand our emotions is really understanding some of these theories that are out here. One of those theories is called the biosocial theory. The biosocial theory suggests that we are born with certain characteristics. So we know that we get a lot of things from our parents, our grandparents. These things are passed along to us. So just like we may take after our mom and dad in some ways, or maybe both of our parents, those are genes that typically make up our personality. Well, some people tend to react to situations out of anger. They tend to respond to them in like ways such as anxiety, depression, worry. Some people are able to shake things off, and some people are just able to be able to move more forward in life than others. Well, most of these ways of adaptation we learn from our parents. And so the biosocial theory teaches a lot about learned behavior. This is basically, we're going to do what we see. We're going to mimic what we see. Some of us are more sensitive to emotions than others, again, based off of maybe how you seen your parent handle a situation or lack thereof. So that relates to whether you had a parent that was there, the way they chose to react, or the fact that you never seen someone, you didn't have a parent there. And so you didn't have someone to be able to see how they would react in a situation. So you're kind of thrown out in the ocean, right? That's kind of like being thrown out in the ocean and never knowing how to swim. You kind of have to learn how to do it on your own. In this way, I like to think about this as rehabilitation versus habilitation, because rehabilitating is the fact that you've seen it, you've seen it in some sort, and maybe you need to be rehabilitated, because it's not that you don't have a skill, it's that maybe it needs to be redeveloped in more of a healthy and positive way. Versus habilitation, where the fact that you never received it at all, right? And so if a person has never received a right or a wrong way, this person would need to have to figure it out on its own. So it really was never shown. Either way it go, it can be problematic, right? So sometimes when you think about not being able to see your parent calm down after an argument, seeing your parent respond negatively to an argument, or the only way that this person is able to get their thoughts across is to become very emotionally toxic, or excessive cursing, not really knowing how to communicate, things like that. These are the things that you're going to bring into your adulthood, into your conversations, into your way of communicating, because it's typically the only way you know how to communicate. We tend to, when we get older, not be able to, we feel like, I don't really want to help this other person learn how to communicate, or we become very overwhelmed by the way somebody else may communicate. But in reality, DBT and mindfulness teaches us that we all are pretty much doing the best that we can. And when we understand that concept of we're doing the best we can, well, that means that we're working with the tools that we got. And so some of us do not have the same toolbox. There's people that know how to communicate, and there's some people that don't know how to listen. It's kind of like, we all don't have the hammers in our box. And even if we all had hammers in our box, in our toolbox, maybe somebody got a verbal explanation on how to use his hammer, and the other person maybe had a written explanation how to use his hammer. Well, the written explanation wouldn't mean anything to the person who doesn't know how to read. So they still wouldn't know how to use their hammer. And maybe the person that got the verbal explanation on how to use the hammer only was limited, because maybe the experience that the person that gave them that information, their experiences were limited. So you know how to use it, but not necessarily in every situation. So as you see, we are all we're all working towards being better people. So we have to understand that if we are more mindful, that we are all continuing to develop through life, we'll have more patience with each other and be able to communicate better and regulate our emotions.